Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time joining, thank you. If you're a previous subscriber or you are a new subscriber or you are visiting from a previous video you have viewed on my channel, welcome back to you all. So today we're going to be continuing on with the In the Hoop wallet embroidery project. And in the previous video, we constructed our zipper pockets. So this was our zipper pocket, and this was the zipper pocket for my test project, which was this one. And if you're not familiar with the mistakes I've made on this one, please go to, there's a video called Overconfidence Can Lead to Mistakes. So there's that one. And the first video for this project will be talking about the supplies. Then there will be part 2 will be file number 1. Part 3 is part 3 will be stitch out for file 2. Part 4 will be stitch out for file 3. And then now we are going to go on to part 5, which will be the stitch out for file number 4, which will be your card pockets. So we have our little card pockets here. Now I'm going to talk to you about something that you can do a little bit different. There is file number 4 and there is file number 5. So when you purchase the design, you will purchase the design, you'll have to unzip it, and then when you do your files, there's going to be 5 different files. Now it only takes 4 files to do the wallet, but it gives you the option of file 4 and file 5. And the difference between that is when you complete file 3, there is it tells you here further on through file 4, at the end of those, it tells you that the file 5 is needed in case you want to change the content of the wallet. And what that means is if you want to make 2 zippered pockets for your wallet and 1 card piece, so you would have 2 zippered wallets and 1 card piece like this, or file 4 shows you 1 zippered and 2 card slot ones. Okay, so that is the difference. So file 4, 1 zipper, 2 card. File 5, 2 zipper, 1 card. And it'll tell you the instructions there that then you'll embroider file 3 2 times, and which is for the zipper. File 3 was the zipper that we just finished. And then you'll embroider file 5, which shows you just 1. So when we're stitching out file 4, which I'll be doing, is for the 2. So that stitch out will have both of these pockets constructed at one time. If you want file 5, where it shows only 1, it's only going to give you the stitch out for 1 pocket. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and continue. And where did I just set those instructions? Okay, there we go. Just set them to the back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go with file 4. I like the 2 card slots, 1 zipper. I'm going to move that one aside. There is something you will have to do to prepare for this step, and that is to take 4 pieces of your 8x4 fabric, and you're going to fold them in half and iron those. So that'll be the 4 pieces I have here. Okay, and I went ahead and hooped my stabilizer. I got 2 layers of my water-soluble stabilizer, and you could see Luna's tail right here. She's laying up on her little perch above the desk. Okay, so I need to move these aside, and I'm going to bring up my file. I had showed you in the previous video how to do the zipper pocket, and we're just going to go ahead and continue with that. And I did show you that you have to take the embroidery foot off your machine and attach a regular sewing foot to it to sew the pocket sides closed, and how to finish the inside of the pocket where we trimmed away the stabilizer inside of it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set that portion all aside up here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to attach our 260 by 200 hoop. Depending on what your style machine is, your brand of machine, it may be a different hoop size. I'm going to go ahead and attach it. So I have that attached. I am going to adjust the camera just a little bit more over here to the side. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I have it adjusted a little bit more so you can see the hoop in the machine. I'm going to go ahead and sit down. I'm going to go ahead and do our placement stitch, which will be our first step. So, well, of course you're going to hoop your stabilizer. Then you're going to do stitch out color 1, which is your placement stitch for this design, for this portion of it. And again, like I've told you in all the previous steps, that the different colors that you'll see on your embroidery screen will be the different colors for placement lines to assemble the wallet. And again, you do not have to do them in those colors. You can stitch all in one color. Just remember to refer to your instructions on where your placement lines will be. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stitch our placement line. And I'm going to stop it to, of course, trim my thread tail. And I didn't have to actually trim that one. That one actually, the machine actually did it for me. Let's go ahead and continue. Sometimes it'll trim it, sometimes it won't. I just like to trim it myself. That way I don't pull any stitching out. Sometimes if it doesn't cut it, okay, so it did our placement stitch. I'm going to go ahead and cut. And you are going to remove the hoop from the machine. And now this step was a little confusing to me when I did it previously on the mock-up on my practice piece. I was not sure how to actually do this because in the display one, it was really confusing to me. And what the problem was is, like, in her video, she uses all one larger piece of fabric or larger pieces of fabric than what the 8x4s were. So make sure that you read your directions completely on this file 4. That way you're not going to get confused like I did. So after we stitch our placement stitch, you're going to remove from the hoop, then you're going to place your lining fabric right side up. So you're going to take 2 pieces of your 8x4, and I recommend that when you do this, you put maybe just about 1/4 of an inch to cover the bottom line right here. I know it's hard to see because I'm using such a light thread. It's a really light lavender color. So I'm just making sure that I have about a 1/4 inch down here covered. Then I'm going to take my next piece and do the same as well. And I'm trying to make sure that I also have it even and not too wonky. So I'm going to just kind of hold my hand here, and it looks pretty good here on the other side. Okay, so again, the way I'm going to do it, this is what was easiest for me, was using the glue stick. I taped it when I did my mock-up piece, my practice piece, and the tape got caught under the machine. It came off on the bed of the machine when I did it last time on that practice wallet, and I had to pick the tape out of the stitches. So I'm just going to glue the sides, just like so. And this is just a Elmer's glue stick. And let's see, am I getting... And you can see, hopefully you can see through that I'm just doing about a 1/4 inch beyond that stitch line. And that way I know when I stitch it again, it is going to catch the fabric. We are just about on our very last video. This will be the end. This will be the last video of what we do on the machine. And the rest of it is going, after this portion, you'll be assembling the wallet by hand. So you will have to do some hand stitching. Okay, so that is that part. Then you're going to turn your hoop over. And again, you can see that I have, there's my stitch line. I have it just about a 1/4 inch there. And same with that one. And my, go ahead and trim this so we don't get any nesting. And now I'm also going to attach the other 2 8x4 pieces. You're going to fix with glue or adhesive tape. So again, I'm just gluing, and this side I glued, on the previous one I glued it a little bit more liberally because I want to make sure that it does stick well on this side. And I'm going to make sure that you can hold it up to the light so you can get your pieces lined up to each other. And I'm just going to smooth that out. And I'm going to flip this one around so my butterflies are going in the same direction. Okay, yeah, so, well, yeah, those butterflies are upside down on this one. And that way when I do it'll look a little more uniform. Have the butterflies going in the same direction. So there's that. And then this one, my butterflies were going all over, so we're going to point those ones up. And again, I want to hold this up a little bit so I can see through the stabilizer to get those pieces lined up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over and I'm going to firmly press. I don't want to press from the other side because you will distort your stabilizer. And make sure that those are good. Okay. So now what you're going to do, this is where I had the confusion. So now what you're going to do is you're going to, after you place your right side, your fabric on the right side, flip over, put it on the back side of the hoop. Then you're going to go back to your machine and you're going to stitch color number 2. So let's go ahead and do that. And what confused me is I didn't know where these pieces came in at. And again, I'm holding my hand on the middle of the machine embroidery arm. And I'm going to look under my hoop to make sure my fabric looked okay, that it didn't fold or anything. So I'm going to hold my tail. Come on. And I'm going to start stitching color 2. And I'm going to just, okay, that is catching about 1/4 inch on there. That's perfect. I'm going to clip that real quick. I'm getting really excited because we are almost to the end of this project. Okay, you'll see that it is stitching a middle line between there, and that's going to be a placement line. Okay, so now it's going to move down to this side, and I'm going to just make sure that my fabric stays smooth. This past year I bought a whole bunch of these glue sticks. I was doing a project with needle turn English paper piecing, and I was basting with glue sticks, and I was able to buy 12 pack. I think it was a 12 pack of glue sticks at Sam's Club for like on sale for $4. So I bought 2 of them. So I have a whole bunch of glue sticks now. Okay, so we did our placement, our placement stitching. So now what we're going to do is you are going to, if you haven't already and didn't do, fold them in half and press them, do that. Then you're going to attach the folded side of the piece to the stitch that's in the photo. So I'm going to cut my thread and I'm going to remove from the hoop so you guys can see. I'm going to cut this jump thread that's back here on the back. And these ones knotted up a little. It's not really a big deal because those are going to be concealed in the construction. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, you can see your lines. I'm sorry if they're really kind of faint, but you can see this middle line right here. What you're going to do is you're going to take your folded pieces, and it says to, whoops, it says to attach the folded side of the piece to the stitch as in the photo, and then place the second piece slightly lower than the first one, and you're going to fix the pieces with adhesive tape. Okay, and it says arrange the second pocket in the same way. So take your pieces, and that line right there is a little bit, if you go like this, you can, if you fold kind of the edge back, you'll see where your line is. On my first ones I made, this pocket, this portion was a little too low for me. I want it to be just a little bit higher. So when I put these first ones on here, I'm going to do it just a little bit different. I'm going to fold it this way a little so I can see where that line is. And I want it to come up a little higher. And I'm going to keep my, where that bottom stitch line is, I'm still going to line this up about 1/4 inch below that, and make sure my other side is about 1/4 inch as well. So that's that first one. And I'm not gluing them this time. It says to just use tape, so I'm going to do it that way as well. So there's that piece. Here's this piece. And I'm going to do the same one this way. So it's going to sew on this side. So I'm going to put it up here. Don't put it, you're just going to reverse it. So you're not going to be putting it on the short seam. You're going to be putting it down here. If it's easier, just pick your hoop up and spin it around so you can get it aligned on there right with the little 1/4 inch. And I'm going to tape that one. And I just want my pockets to have a little bit more depth. The card slot portion of it to have just a little more depth to be able to hold that card in there a little bit better. Okay, so that looks good. Come on. The tape doesn't want to come off. Okay. So now you're going to take your second piece and you're just going to put it, you can see on this one, I did it about a 1/2 inch lower. I'm only going to do about a 1/4 inch because I want to make sure that I have a deep pocket. That way, if you see on this one's pretty shallow. And it's okay for myself because I'm going to use my mock-up, the practice wallet, as a project wallet for when I do my English paper piecing. I can just make it as like a little hand sewing kit. Okay, so we have those taped. I am going to flip around and do the other side. This is so cute. When I was doing my first project, I wasted a lot of this butterfly fabric, and I really loved this fabric when I bought it. I've had it in my fabric stash, I'm not kidding you, for probably maybe 2 years now, and I never knew what to use it for, but the person that I'm making this item for really loves purple. Her favorite color is purple, so this, and she likes different shades, so this was perfect with all these different colors of purple in it. Okay, so I have it like so. So we have our first pocket lined up here, and then our second pocket lined up at the fold. Okay, so she actually did it a little bit different here. I should have looked at that. Okay, so I am looking at this picture here, and you can actually see, of course, if you're looking at this on your computer, you're going to see the different variation. But you can see here that she actually has the fold here and the fold here. So I'm going to just go ahead and take this part off. We already know that we have that lined up. So I'm going to just line it up just like so. There's that one. And we knew that this piece was the longer one. I don't know if you all saw that, but Luna really has this thing for masking tape, and she tries to eat it. So she saw that sticking up and went for it. I'm going to pause the video for just a moment and let her out of the room, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I let Luna out of the room, and before I paused the video, I was saying how she has the folds both facing upwards. So I went ahead and did that. But she also does show where you can do a variation with a different contrasting fabric, where you can do one, a darker fabric at the top or underneath, and then a lighter one at the top, on top of that. So you can do it that way. Now what we're going to do is we are going to stitch color number 3. So that is still attached well. I'm going to go ahead and put the hoop back into the machine. Now what you want to do is that when you are stitching this, where your pockets, where the card slots are, make sure that when your embroidery foot is down, it does not get caught on that fold, because it will not stitch correctly. So I am going to pull my tail out. I'm going to start my stitching and make sure that those are down. Okay, I'm going to pause, cut my tail, and we're going to continue stitching. And again, you can see that I have enough fabric down here at this end, and it is doing a long pocket. Okay. Okay. So now what it's going to do is it's going to start the kind of placement around it. And what this will be like the build-up stitch, the zigzag for where it's going to do the kind of satin stitch. It's just going to do a satin stitch at the top and at the bottom. It's doing a really close zigzag stitch here, but not quite close enough to where it becomes a satin stitch. And that's just because that's going to finish the edge of these card slot pockets. Okay. So there you can see it's doing like the knockdown zigzag. So this is going to take 4 minutes. It's going to do one pocket, card slot pocket at a time. So there's the zigzag on the side. And the reason why it's not doing a satin stitch on that, because that when you construct the wallet, it's going to be on the inside when it's going to be inside, and that's going to be stitched. Okay, so it is going to now do zigzag, and then it will do the satin stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, let it complete the satin stitch on this one and the second one to save time in the video, and when that is finished, I will be right back. Okay, so it finished doing the knockdown kind of zigzag stitch. Now it's telling me to go to our final color, and in your instructions that will be telling you to stitch color 4. So we're going to go ahead and do that color 4. It's going to take 10 minutes. So I'll go ahead and start it. And you will see that it's going to do the zigzag just here at the top. Again, it's going to do just a kind of like placement stitch to build the... Hopefully the video is not really super shaky. But what this is now going to do is it's just building that placement. You can see now it's starting did like a reinforcement stitch just on those corners. Okay, so now we're doing our zigzag. So each one is going to take about 8 minutes. So I will pause the video, and when the satin stitching is done, I will come back and we are just about finished. Okay, so the final stitching just completed. I'm going to remove it from the machine. You can see the nice satin stitches on the top and the bottom edge. And you can see our nice pockets. So now what we're going to do is we are going to remove it from the hoop. Once again, we are going to cut away the excess. And so we got it from the hoop. Just stick my hoop back together and move it out of the way. So we are done with the embroidery. And now I'm just going to trim away the stabilizer and the excess fabric. And when that is finished, I will be right back. Okay, so I don't know why I didn't think of this when I did the first portion to make it a little bit easier cutting. I thought I'd go ahead and come back and show you. I am just using a rotary cutter to do this portion. I'm just making sure that I have my ruler above those stitches, just enough. Instead of using hand scissors, and I am just trimming right across. You can see that I did leave enough of an edge there. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. So I don't risk cutting the stitch. If you guys want to do it, of course, by your hand with just some hand scissors, by all means. I just thought this would be a little bit quicker. I could have got a bigger ruler, but to save time, this is what I had on my desk already. And just tear that part off. And just this last edge here. And I'm only leaving maybe 1/8 of an inch. Probably not even that much, but you can kind of definitely see my edge there. See how much I've left? And that's okay, because this part's going to be concealed. Now, I could have trimmed this one a little bit closer, and maybe with my hand scissors I can do that one a little bit better. But the top edge is going to be what you're seeing in the wallet when it's finished. So I'm going to try to still get a little bit closer on that. And I'm hoping I'm not getting my big old head in the camera here. Okay, so I definitely got closer on that one. You can see that I am just right there, right on that edge, but still not cutting the stitching. And I'm going to try to trim up the edge on this one as well. A little bit. Let's do the top. Let's see if I can do the top just a little bit better on this one. Just maybe just the very, very... so I did get a little trimmed off. And there we go. There is your nice pockets. And so these ones are a little bit deeper than what I did on my first. So you can see the difference there. Here's the first little pocket and the second. I'm not sure what you would put in these little ones over here. Maybe, you know, the little grocery keychain cards. Maybe you could do that here. Maybe if you wanted to do these double-sided, so it, like if they were maybe this way, pockets on each side, you could do that way, so you'd have pockets here and do it that way. So you could do this file 4 again. So I could even add these in there if I wanted to, so I could do a well, no, that won't work because my different stitching, but just another way to add some more pockets if you wanted more pockets is just do file 4 twice, and you could stitch these together with your machine, and you would have, so pockets here, you'd have 1, 2 pockets, 3, 4, and if you do it again, you'd have another one just like this if you needed more. Okay, so that is it for our embroidery. The next video will be where we are actually doing the construction portion of sewing our portions into the wallet itself. That is going to be done by hand sewing. It shows in the instructions to do that by hand. And the reason why is because when you are sewing it in, it would be a little difficult to get that into a machine. You can see how really close that would be into a machine. I mean, you could do it, but better safe than sorry. I will be doing it by hand as well, since that's the way she shows in her instructions. So stay tuned for that video. That will be our last video of our In the Hoop machine embroidery wallet. So stay tuned for that video, and we will see you all soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.